Hey, time for another out-of-this-world story from our space. Wife cheated and abandoned the kids and I. What's my best option? Even if it's just for venting, it does me some good, so here it goes. My wife was having actually multiple, affairs, which I found out about accidentally. We got married in 2008 and had our son soon after. She pushed hard to have a second child immediately, age issues, and we had our second son in about a year and a half. I was busy pulling 72-hour work weeks while still handling most of the work around the home, since working in EMS with 24-hour shifts meant I could work 72 hours and have 4 days off. She started treating me like crap soon after we had our second child, but I just considered it postpartum depression and remained happy, considering myself lucky to have a beautiful family, and was proud to work my butt off 24/7 to make her as happy as I could. Except for about 2 years after having the second child, she was mostly employed, but she never shared her income or spent on household expenses, and I never said anything because we thought since I made 3 times what she made, I'd pay for everything, and she kept her money in her account, or pillow, as her savings. Now, after the second child, she started getting all kinds of plastic surgeries and other beauty procedures that she paid for out of our savings. I always told her that I thought she looked perfect as she was, but she insisted that it would make her happy, and it's about how she feels, so I never said much against it. Not that I would or could decide for her anyways. I'm sure too breast surgeries, liposuctions, and other procedures to make C-section remarks disappear, nose job, lip fillers, Botox, about 12 full-body laser hair removals, plus all the makeup and brand-name clothing and accessories weren't cheap, but I know for a fact she had a significant amount left. One day, I'm going through my phone bill to find a number for a guy who wanted to buy a tool for me off of Craigslist a while back and accidentally had her number open instead of mine, my own family phone plan, and saw hundreds of calls in the middle of the night and other times too on days I'm at work. Putting her attitude and the calls together, I decided to Google some of the numbers and found all these guys I don't know. Went to her and told her as calmly as possible, for the sake of the kids, that I had found out that she was seeing others, and that was when my life actually turned to hell. She immediately turned that into me being a controlling jerk who had spied on her and checked her phone, and got so intense that I had to grab the kids and leave as I didn't want them to go through all that cursing and screaming. We came back at night, and she had just grabbed her bags and left. This was in 2015, and for the past 6 years, she has been disappearing for months. And every time she breaks up with someone, which happens far too often, she just moves back without notice, saying it's her house, and I don't get to say otherwise. Stays for a while, or just comes home at nights, and then leaves with no notice again. I don't even start any arguments because she has proven to be far better than me at shouting and going from 0 to 100, and would terrorize the kids. Managing babysitting during times I leave for work has been a nightmare, even though my family and friends have helped a lot when I'm working. The divorce hasn't gone through. Was trying not to get a lawyer to save money since I'd end up paying for hers too. Stupid of me, I know. As every time we get close to it, she changes her mind on something or disappears. She has mentioned several times that if I want to get my peace of mind, I should just give her the house and take my boys and leave. I have paid every single payment as well as every single bill for the house, and plus any other expenses there is, since day one, and my bank statements show that. We live in a no-fault state, though I never intended to not give her anything, as I thought she is my kid's mother after all. But she is not sharing any info about her savings, and I think in the best-case scenario, for me, she gets half of everything we got, even though she has been separate and mostly gone for 6 years now, during which I've continued to work and pay for everything, and the house value has doubled. Losing the house means we have to move, which puts another stress on boys, as they've been begging to not change school and friends, but I won't be able to afford living where I am if the house is gone. She has told me that she doesn't want custody, but she has also said that if I ask for anything that's against her wishes, she would ask for custody just to keep the house and get me to pay all kinds of things. But worse than all, I know I'm going to have to take care of my kids 100%, even if she gets custody, as her and I both know how much I care for my boys, and couldn't possibly let them have the kind of life that I know they'd have with a mother who doesn't really want them and clearly suffers from some cluster B personality disorders, making her incapable of any level of empathy. Early on, when I was at work and she was with them, the best she ever did was to hand them a sandwich, put them in front of Xbox, and go to her room and be on Instagram and other social media all day. I know I've written way too much, so I don't think many or maybe anyone would have time to read this. And believe me, I'm not even starting on the kind of abuse the kids and I have been subjected to, or how she has planned to make me look like the guilty one, thanks to me keeping my mouth shut and not sharing with anyone, mostly out of embarrassment. However, if anyone who knows about this stuff did read some, what do you think is my best course of action? Do I have any chance in getting the court to believe me, given the fact that I feel around here everyone believes the woman's side automatically, or far more easily? If it was me, I'd just get my bag and leave her with everything, but I have all the expenses and college bills very soon to deal with, so I feel it's my duty to advocate for my kid's future. Moving on to the next story. My 26 male, wife, 20-some female, cheated, but my family are taking her side and making things harder for me. We grew up almost together. Our parents were close friends and we lived in the same building. I used to hate her when I was a kid because she was always better than me, and I can say she received more love from my parents than me. We both got accepted into the best university in our country, but they only held a party for her, and their excuse was she ranked second in the whole country while I was only in the top 50. But she herself cared for me more than anyone else. She confessed to me when I was 17, and we got married when I was 23, 3 years ago. We had a great marriage until 3 months ago. I came home, and before going in, I stopped to smoke a cigarette. Then I heard my wife voice from the window. I went closer to talk to her, and it was when I heard her saying, "We should end this. It's wrong. I love Diane," what she calls me. "Don't call me again." I felt like I wanted to throw out my stomach. I felt really, really bad, but after a few minutes, I calmed down and went in. I didn't say anything to her. I was trying to convince myself that maybe I'm wrong. Later, my wife left the house to go to the gym. She always leaves her phone at home when she's going to the gym. After struggling for a few minutes, I decided to check her phone. I can open it with my fingerprints. It was her decision to add my fingerprints so I can use it in case of emergency. I find the chats very fast. They've been talking since 1 month ago. I was expecting that she had already deleted anything about him, but well, it was all there. I knew the guy from high school. He had nothing but looks. After reading the chats, I realized they got in contact in a school gathering party, and my wife asked him a few questions about photos, since he's a model, and then they had a meeting, which I didn't know about. After that, they were more intimate, and went on a second date. He kissed her in that date, and they talked about it in the chat. It was 2 days ago. I had enough, so I stopped reading. I wrote, "I want a divorce. How did you do that to me?" on paper, and left it on top of the phone with chat still open, and left the house. I turned my phone off and went to my parents' house. The next day when I woke up, she was there, and I soon realized my parents thought we had a problem and wanted to help us. They kept saying, "Married couples always fight, and we should overcome these issues." I was really tired, angry, and when my father repeated almost the same thing, I shouted, "She freaking cheated on me. She cheated on me," and then I realized I'm crying. I left the house. I went to my parents' house. I expected my parents to take my side and stop bothering me, but the next day, my mother called me and said, "She's explaining everything to me. She's really sorry. It's not that bad. She didn't have any close relationship with him. We should be forgiving." I was desperate, and I said no. I want a divorce, as she kept saying those things again. And she was saying I'm overreacting. It was only a small mistake, and it's not like they had sex. They just met 2 times. I hung up. A few days later, I went to my parents' house to talk to my father about selling the house after the divorce, and he said, "I'll only allow you my house with your wife," and closed the door. It was the second saddest moment in my life after I realized my wife cheated. It's been 3 months, and my parents keep asking me to forgive her and don't allow me in their house. We're still married because she refused to sign the divorce papers, and in my country, if one of the partners refuses to get divorced, it will take lots of time, and they have to first participate in 3 sessions with a therapist. And she's been following me wherever she can, crying, asking me to give her another chance, and seeing her like this makes me really sad because I really loved her. But I just can't forgive her. I just can't trust her anymore and not think about how she cheated on me. I don't know anymore what to do with my life, how to deal with my parents, or even how to make her stop. P.S. In my country, unless she does something serious like hurting me, I can't sue her for anything, and honestly, I don't ever want to do that if it was possible. Our first reaction from the community comes from Hugs23. "I'm so sorry this happened to you. When you love someone for so long and they cheat on you with intent, it's hard to trust anything they say again and hurts really bad. Your parents likely want you to stay together because you've been together for so long and they care about her a lot. What really matters is your life, though. It sounds like your parents are trying to force you to take her back. But meeting that guy from school and having dates and kisses shows that she is capable of being deceitful and keeping secrets. I would be very angry if my husband did this, and maybe not divorce, but I wouldn't want to see or touch him for some time. Your parents are being extreme and taking her side completely. I think you should attend a therapy session by yourself to process your emotions with a professional and build a timeline of actions to take. Divorce in your country sounds hard. If you take that path, plan it well. Your wife sounds like she will turn others against you. Also, do you have friends? Lean on them for support." Our next comment comes from Hola los amigos. "I know exactly which country OP is from, based on the writing, the mentioning of ranks, and the role of what happens when one spouse does not sign the divorce papers. I am also from the same country. It is a certain country in Asia. Oki, your parents have compared the both of you your entire life. They had a party for her when she got into the university and didn't have one for you. They think she's better than you. Your wife also knows this. Divorce is taboo in this country. Your parents don't want you to get a divorce because they would have to tell relatives and friends about it. It's not because they care about the both of you. They would be ashamed and embarrassed. This is why they don't want you to get a divorce. You know they are toxic and that they've been guilt-tripping you your entire life. You know what needs to be done. You've already decided to get a divorce and are moving forward with the proceedings, which is great. You need to cut them out of your life. You're only 26 and can find someone else and do much better. I guarantee you that they will try to come back in your life when you have a child. Don't let them put your child to what you are going through. You are doing the right thing. They are emotionally blackmailing you and then know it's working because they've been doing it your whole life. You're a good man who doesn't deserve this. Things will become better and you will find happiness. Good luck.